Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, guys. Can you hear me when I'm talking? When I'm live? Is everything working? Comment down there on the description. I'll be trying to use those applications that I have LBS and wherever, but I see it's not working. But I think I see this one little bit working. I don't know. So, do you guys coping? If you're coping, just holler at me and let me know if we can start a session. All right, I'm very super happy and excited that it's working, guys, because it really got me very stressed. I found out OBS is good, but I also found out this other stream somebody mentioned to me it's really dope, and I think I'm gonna use them next time. But I also got straight to the YouTube itself, and I see it's working perfectly. Thank God, everything's back in control. All right. So I'm collecting the questions. If you have any questions, just ask me straight away, so we can start the live. This was a test, but I found out let's work with this as it is because we don't have much time. Like go back and starting recreating stuff. I think we don't have time for that. I don't want to mess around. So I think we're gonna work with this. All right. So guys, um, and all right. So the first questions that I've got, it was about how to create character grading mode. Uh, how to create character grading mode on DaVinci Resolve and to express the feelings. All right. I've explained this so many multiple times that character grading to create a mode in character grading is all about first the set itself for how it is, the shots, uh, the the color palette that we found from set, as well as the the subject themselves, the feelings they have. You see, so you can see someone's crying, you can never make a color grading of happiness, right? So all of these things, when it combines together, they you able to get a moody to your character. But there's these things that we can learn to create a multiple moods by twisting our tools. which is actually really works, right? But it doesn't give you 100% unless there's something already been mentioned from set itself, right? So maybe let's try to creating something like, maybe I'm trying to contrast this image quick, just like this, and I'm gonna use a pivot just like this. All right. And maybe I want to create something romantic, right? So I'm gonna make another node, which is outside of color space. I mean, outside of this twisting, and maybe I'll try to create a tone to express my mood. All right. Maybe I want to create. Um, maybe I just want to create a, a, a I mean, romantic tone, right? There's a lot of things you can use to make the tone itself to come out, but actually, there is twisting of grading itself, the look printing itself, rather. So the extra effects like glowing animations, the texture stuff, the softiness, or you can use a popping stuff to creating maybe depends on anything you want to create. But here we discuss about the tone itself, all right? So maybe if I want to try to create something romantic, right? So often the romantic stuff like that, we need so I'm gonna use my spectroscope. We need a warm tone like that, right? So I'm gonna try to create some warm just like this, just like this. I'm using my, I don't know if you can see it. I'm using my Cara, this my Cara panel here, so it's affecting my gamma and gain. So you can see I'm creating a warm like this, and try it. So now you can see I'm able to create some romantic feelings, right? So this is not enough. As I told you, there is some stuff you need to do and extra stuff you can do after you're processing, all right? So we can try something like a glowing effect, just like this, maybe a glow effect. All right, so I can switch that to screen and do the slideshow, do the spread like this, and reduce a little bit of a gain, just like this. All right, you can see the glow effect. It's kind of giving us that's a romantic, you know. All right, so okay, another problem you have, nina shida kwenye kubalance picha nashindwa naifanyaje. All right, we're gonna work on that. You don't worry, that is gonna be your problem is gonna be solved today, right? uh Shade, my brother, I know you can't miss here. We've been trying a lot to bring us live, and yeah, thank God we are live again. Yeah, it's just a miracle. All right, so this is it. So you can see here, it's kind of giving us a romantic feel. All right, it's kind of looks very that you need to consider when it comes to creating moody from a grade itself. It's a contrast. It is super contrast. So we're gonna try to softness our our shadows area just a little tiny bit, right? So I'm gonna do like this so you can able to see our waveform. What is happening? He, guys, yani kuna kama kauchawi nataka muone screen yenyewe eti inaleta hii picha yangu. Sasa mimi picha yangu ya nini? Mimi nataka muone screen yangu hapa. Let's see what can I do. So I think I should stop the camera. Do you guys see my screen? Because I see it's like you only see me instead of seeing what I'm doing to my screen. Comment down there quickly so I'm able to know if you can see my screen. Uh, all right. So guys, can you see my screen? Yeah, I think now you're able to see my screen. All right. Okay, let's keep going. What happened? I just want you to see the screen, not just. Welcome, my brother. I think on next session, we're gonna have to work together to make sure this streaming stuff it's properly. You know, we are starting. This is our second live stream, so there are some issues that is going to be happening. I think you guys need to understand what issues can happen. You guys need to understand what issues can happen. All right, so I want to show you this. That's in a color grading, the softness type of mode, it doesn't need a super contrasted image. So I'm gonna try to reduce a little bit of a contrast by using shadow slider. So I'm going to into softness area just like that, and the highlight should be a little bit also softness, right? So I'm gonna use HDR tools for light and reduce a little bit of a light. I don't want it to be super pushing. So you can see, guys, before and after, you can see how the contrast is start to be a very softness, right? So you can see before and after, the contrast is very softness. So this is the type of look that you can also put in there. And when someone look at the image and they're going to feel like, okay, bro, this is just a tone of romantic, all right? And maybe we can just try to increase our glow a little bit to make it very shiny, all right? Just like this. Look how beautiful the glow is giving us that romantic type of tone. This is a far from look itself, and this is the far from effect itself. All right, let's try to create this type of look. Maybe let's try to create something looks like a wall. All right, so I'm gonna try to create a look. I'm not using color space transformation stuff like that because this is a part of explanations about the color grading twisting, not the overall process. You can apply this method by using also color space transformation, or you can just apply this method by using this way that I'm using, because I'm explaining I have to make it very careful. Is the wall kind of type of tone, it doesn't need a super brightness just like the romantic one, right? So this is gonna be wall tone, and it doesn't have to be oversaturated, guys. So uh we're gonna reduce saturation just like this. You can see its saturation is very less, and we're gonna try to create a storyboard. Often the wall tone is kind of looks greenish. All right, so I'm gonna put into greenish just like this, and we're gonna try to blend in by using gain and gamma a little bit. I'm using the gamma gain, guys. Yeah, just like this. Look how beautiful this image got to be. It super looks type of war Tony. You can see now it's changing our color board. It's changing our color story, all right? And let me try to create wipe this super blacks to the let me try to create the super blacks by using shadow wheel. So I'm gonna put it a little bit into of let me show you guys. The opposite side of green is magenta, right? So our shadow, our blacks area was super and green is part. So I'm putting forward to this side to little bit clean up the blacks, right? Okay. And next thing that's we're gonna do is just thread just like this. You can see how the tone we about to create in here. This is another story. I requested this to create a Tony or to create a story in color grading, right? So maybe you can try to fix up the skin tone. So here you need to know it doesn't matter you about to presenting something, but the skin has to be little bit natural, guys. So I'm gonna try to qualify the skin tone just like this and push it a little bit to magenta so to have the separate. All right, look out before and after the skin tone, still getting the exact color that's needed, but too slow, too small. This is not the end. Maybe we can try to do effect to make it looks very aggressive, right? So this is the difference between the horror stuff or the filmic stuff and romantic stuff. So we're gonna try maybe using a contrast pop or texture. So we're gonna try to make it very look how this image is got to be compared the other one. And maybe you can try so much grain in it to look dirty, right? So I'm gonna use frame grain just like this. We're gonna try 35 millimeter or 16 millimeter. This is gonna be the best. All right, so I'm gonna grain strength this one, and we're gonna choose this. So I don't know if you can see it, but actually yes. So let's see the look. Let's see the difference between this grading. All right, so I'm gonna select it. All right, so now you can see the difference between these two guys. Okay, you can see the left side of it, it's a romantic tone. The right side of it, it's a war tone or it's horror tone. It's a film. It's aggressive tone. You can see this is just a painting. All right. So what I can do as is to make the image super darker. So I'm gonna try So I'm gonna try to reduce the gain a little bit, and somewhere around there. So this is a look, another look. All right, let's try to create sci-fi Tony. Guys, do you know the sci-fi Tony? The sci-fi Tony, guys, right? So we're gonna try something like this. I'm gonna do contrast again, uh, just like this, and I'm gonna control the pivot just like this, right? So we're gonna try to create the sci-fi tone. So I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my image to the super bluish tone by using my lift. So I'm gonna put it to the super bluish just like this. All right, crank the shadow down a little bit, and I'm gonna open up my gain a little bit like this, not too much, just like this. All right, so I'm gonna create a layer node. So I'm gonna select this part to protect the skin tone. Sorry. I'm gonna crank it up a little bit, try to do the warm side. So you can see, all right, wait up a little bit. We're creating something like the sci-fi tone. All right, so this is the difference between these two. This is the sci-fi tone. Okay, so the first one we try to create, this was a romantic one. It's super warmth, it's not aggressive, it's super clean, it's super love. But this one was a war tone, which is a super aggressive. It kind of have too much noises, too much detail. You can see the skin texture, and I was not do too much. I just want to do less, but there is more pushing into it. You can see how much you modify kind of tone, which is maybe, let's say, like she's in maybe in another maybe she's in another, or let's say she's in another planet, something like that. You can see this is how we're creating moody, the same moody. That's it. All right, the questions from Eusto about the white balance. All right, let me fix that. There's a lot of way of fixing one, which is most of people using the color space transformation. I'm sorry, by using a temperature and tint. This is one of my biggest things that's often used. There's a multiple way of correcting these things. One of a big thing that I'm using to correct the white balance is I'm often use my vector scope. This is the one of my biggest weapons when it comes to uh correct white balance. Right. So I think I'm going to I'm going to put a color space transformations. So I'm going to convert this is a Sony camera, I think. This is a Sony camera. I'm going to convert it to X79, which is I'm going to use sRGB. Yusto, are you there? Do you copy? All right. Capture production asking about a black skin tone. All right. Let me work up with this. Let me work up with white balance, and then we can to fix the black skins problem. Right. Okay. Uh the first thing, as you can see, first thing you need to understand, to me, white balance is not about To me, white balance is not about the this white clothes that she wore or anything, or blacks area just like that. To me, white balance are often come to white balance to overall image and the skin. You see, so when I see the skin is kind of magenta, or it's kind of any colors that I see is not properly, they am trying to. So as you can see, this image was shot in during a day. I mean, during the evening, the sun is about to be set. I don't know, it's about to set or rise, but it seems like the sun is about to be set. So it's kind of giving us that's a magenta tone a little bit, just like that. You can see our rectangle and it's looking magenta. So to fix options, and the last one that I'm going to show you is the biggest one. You see, so I've seen uh, to me often I'm not doing watching things. To me often when it comes to white balance, I'm always even do a white balance without watching the image. You look at this. Okay, I'm close the image. You can see we are not seeing anything there. So we are not seeing anything. Let me zoom this thing so we can never see the image. Let me put it in image way down. All right. So you can see. So what I'm about to do now is just I make sure this is my virtual scope. This you see the information right there. The information is a lay on greenish and bluish spots. You can see. So what I'm about to do now is make sure these things or this information, this color you can see there, it doesn't lay on other side. It has to be in the middle part. All right, so I'm going to use my tint to go to the opposite side of magenta, which is greenish pot, right? So you can see it's getting in indicator perfectly. And then I'm going to try to bring it to the warming side a little bit, just like that. I don't know if you can see properly, but this is it. Look at this thing. Look how it is. Look at before, look at after, look at before, look at after. You can see it's getting in perfect position. Like, I'm just done too much. Let me bring it a little bit. Just like this. You can see, look at before, look at after. I never even watched the image. All right. So now let's watch the image itself. Let's watch the image itself. Look at before, look at after, look at before, look at after. Look how much we clean up the image. Before the image was magenta, right now the image it is in better position. You can even see the skin tone is where they look now. So this is one of the biggest technique that I'm using to fix my white balance. You see, I'm not using any extra plugins like using this or this. I just only use tempo and tint, but actually I perfect balance my white balance perfectly. But the thing I'm not, use the you can use the parents to fix that. All right, you can see before and after. The picture was let me show you the parrot. You can see before and after. The picture was so much reddish and the red is the upper, the green is a little bit less there, and the blue is a little bit upper. You can see so it's creating that magenta. But once I'm turn on this on, you can see before, once I'm turning this on, you can see this information's getting the same positions. But this is one of, it's not my thing anymore. I'm just using my virtual scope to control the white balance, guys. I'm not using my parades. So this is the one thing you need to understand. I'm not using my parades. I'm just using only a virtual scope. So these are one technique. There's another way. There's another way people I seen on social media. they're using this they're using these techniques. They use this they come into the gamma, switch to the linear, and then they just come into the luma mix and reduce all the way over, and then they use gain to control the white balance, right? But the same method you can apply. So I'm using this, I'm correcting by using the vector scope, right? So I'm coming to my gain and try to bring it into the position. You can see this one thing that I love, it doesn't affecting much the luma. So using the lifting, I mean using the tempo and tint, it's kind of affecting the luma. So you can see how perfectly it's fixing our balance without ruining our image. And you can see the difference here. This temp and tint, you see. So there's a different option. It doesn't matter the option. All thing you need to consider is make sure you're getting into right position by using a vector scope, right? So, and there's another one that's I love using this. It's chromatic adoptions. This is one of my biggest plugins, built-in plugins that I'm using to control my work partners. It actually works in pretty dope. Look at this. So this is chromatic from DaVinci itself. So what I'm doing here is just come and all right. Okay, so it's chromatic adoption. So I'm coming here, changing this to current temperature, and then also I'm coming here, changing this to current temperature as well. See, so this one here, I'm putting the target part, I'm putting 50,000, just like this. You can see the image is getting warmer, right? And then I'm also using my vector scope. This is one of my favorites. I love using this. It's kind of give me perfect balance of temperature, you see. So I'm coming to my vector scope, try to reduce somewhere along here and the tint a little bit here. I'm using my vector scope as well, so you can see. Let's look at before, look at after. This is one of my biggest favorites white balance option. Look how clean it's got to be. So it's clean out our balance at as well. It's giving us a very perfect cleanest lizard compared to these other things. You see, this is before, this is after. You can see now, this is before, this is after. But look at this one. This is before, this is after. I don't know if you can see the difference. Look at this spot. This is before, this is after, right? Okay, look at this one. This is before, this is after, all right? Look at this one. This is before, this is after. Look at these things, how massive it's get. The luma seat, it's getting very cleanest. This is one of my favorites, right? So sometimes I'm using this, sometimes I'm using this, sometimes I use this. This is the way I'm correcting my white balance. But the main purpose, guys, when it comes to white balance, the main purpose thing is make sure you are correcting your vector scope. It has to be into middle, this part. So used to, I think, if you don't understand, please comment there so I can able to know if you are not understand what I'm talking about. All right, so the next question is a black skin. All right. All right, so the next question is the black skin. All right, the black skin, I was explaining on my lesson tutorial about the skin tone things. Guys, about the skin tone. Skin tone is just all the human skin has share the same range of color. So the difference between this skin tone is a light and reflection. So guys, if you have a problem on creating skin tone, Today is going to be your troubleshoot day, right? This thing you need to consider: skin tone on blacks people, the difference between white people and blacks people, or any kind of people. You see this one, maybe let's say this one, all right, and this one. The difference between these two people, they are share the same range of color, but the difference is a light or reflection. Let's say this woman here, it has a less reflection, a less light in it. The skin could be darker. So one thing people are really not paying much attention, or one of the biggest people that they do, one of the biggest one of the biggest mistake people more often do when it comes to skin tone is they want the black guy to have a more light, especially to this color grading processing. You see, that's the biggest mistake. You see, the black guy only needs a perfect contrast, a perfect luma, perfection splitting between the background and herself or themselves or the black itself. You see, don't focus on increasing the brightness. No, 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 that's a big mistake you can do, because the reflection of a brightness from the darker person is very less, and darker person has so much density. So that's the biggest difference, guys. You need to understand. So let's do this. Let's do this. So I'm gonna try to do a color space transformation just like this. I just copy it from here, I put in here, all right? So I'm going to try to do a little bit quick quick uh correction, like here. You see, I'm and doing the pivot just like this. All right. So the thing that I'm doing, to me, the stuff that I'm doing to first, I'm qualifying the image. This is one of my biggest thing that I'm doing, right? I'm qualifying the image just like this. Make sure you have a perfect selection. All right. All right. Any questions? Any question, guys? Please come with the questions. I really need the questions, guys. Without your questions, the to be all right. So that's it. When it comes to the skin tone, the technique, the most technique that I'm using, right? The chapter production, right? So when it comes to the skin tone, they're very, very, very perfect. Uh, a very first I'm using the gamma. I'm using the gamma to right. So the first thing that I'm using is, you see, I'm using this. There's two different things between primary colorways and primary color bars. You see, this one it can multiple in the, affecting individual channel. The colorways it's affecting our. So this one is, I'm just affecting the only particular channels. You see, so this one I'm going to affecting the blue channel. Whenever I'm bringing down the blue channel, you can see my skin is getting to the yellowish area, just like this. You see, let me show you. Let me show you. You see, if I bring it down, you can see it's getting to the yellowish area. You can see if I bring it down, if I bring it up, you can see it's getting to the bluish area. And if I bring it down, just like this, you can see it's getting to the yellowish area. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to bring it way down until the skin is getting yellowish, and then I'm also going to bring greenish spot until I starting see the skin tone is getting to this indicator here. You see, this is what I'm doing, right? And then the next thing is I'm just going to reduce saturation so the skin tone is getting perfect balance. I'm using the color boost, and also the skin is getting yellow again. So I'm keeping putting into magenta part, just like the color tone, all right? I'm keeping reducing saturation and keeping pushing into, I'm keeping reducing the bluish a little bit, so to getting indicator like that. You can see now it's getting to this yellow part. This is where I'm focused much. You can see, let me show you. This is where I'm focused much. You can see before, you can see the after. You can see now with the complexion and everything, how it's collecting my skin tone and look the same color, right? So this is one thing that's making this look very perfect, all right? So I'm going to try to contrast this skin tone. So I'm going to try to bring dark the skin, this lumacid. You see this part, the lumacid part. I'm going, oh, you see when I'm increasing this number, she's got to be a little bit whiter. And these are one of the big mistakes people are doing, all right? So you have to reduce the skin tone to make it a little bit density. And I'm going to try to increase the gain to make the skin separations. And I'm coming to the shadow area. I'm coming to putting shadow a little bit down to make it skin separation. So now you can see the skin tone before and after, how the skin tone look be. And look how much perfect, uh, look how the perfect compression been done. Look at before the skin tone, it was as multiple color. Look at before, you can see the skin tone. I don't know if you can see the area. I don't know if I can able to, but look at the color here. Look at the color here. Look at the color in this area, this part. Look at this part. Look at the skin tone itself. How it looks annoying. It has a different type of color. You see, it has multiple colors. But this process, look how perfect it completes the skin tone, and look, only single one color. Look how perfect it's blending. Look at this area. Let me show you this area closer. Look at this. Look at the and look now after the skin tone correction. You can see before, after. Look at how perfect the skin tone will start to correct. And I never use the loot. So this process, if you have a problem about this process, I have my loot package, which is also do like this, guys. The loot packet that I'm selling, look at it, the loot packet that I'm selling. Um, you can qualify just like this. It does all these things. That's why I'm telling you guys, I created a skin tone lot for easy job for people like you. So I'm coming to just like this, my skin tone lot. So you can see, look at these things. Look at multiple skins, multiple direction for the white people, for the dark skin. This is skin tone lot. Look how beautiful it's creating. So if you have a problem about creating all these things, that's how I've done there. You can just using my loot spoke, and then you come after selecting this, you can come and try to using just like this. It's like the process you've done manually. You see, but this one was perfect, as perfect qualify. So that's why you can see it's only affecting the skin tone. This one I just did a rash qualifications. So this is how you're able to correct the skin tone. Any question, guys? Oh, Nicola, even there. Now, kivi bidena. Acha bwana. Hebu ngoja. Kwa hiyo hapo ukiingia kwenye live yangu, hebu ingia hapo, unaona niko mimi au siko mimi? Nikijaribu kubadilisha password sawa, nitumie basi kaka. Hebu ukiingia hapo kwenye YouTube sasa hivi unaona ina function kwangu ambayo ni ya kwangu mimi au ya mtu mwingine? Wewe nitumie kabisa. So guys, any questions so far? All right, let me check another questions. The question that have been submitted. All right, about the exposure. Okay, so about the exposure. Hapa mimi sasa, unajua hapa natumia app ya nini, live ya YouTube, kwa sababu ile live ya naniliu zile zinanisumbua za application kama OBS. Hapa nimeingia tu kwenye YouTube moja kwa moja kupitia Chrome. Nimeingia hapa kupitia Chrome kwa sababu zile app ninazotumia zinasumbua. So this question was about proper exposure. All right, guys, let me tell you one thing. To me, one of a big thing. Let me show you this image. You know, this is a low light image, right? It has a perfect expose when you look to the log. But when it comes to convert this to Lex 79, you're going to see a very biggest problems when it comes to contrast this image. So these are one of the big things. That's what people are facing. They lose a much detail on the image itself first, and then when it comes to people wants to see everything in detail, the detail is not there yet. You see. So to me, one of the biggest techniques that I've done, and I've seen it actually works perfectly to me. And actually, when it comes to a contrast and everything, people can see my subject perfectly, can see my shadow area perfectly, and can even see the high area perfectly. It's the completion method. All right. So after the rate 79, I'm compressing the image so that I can have a editable, or like let's say a customization spot frequencies, so that I can create my own contrast without lose the information, because I have a biggest room to do my magic. This is one of the techniques that I often use when it comes to these techniques, right? So first we're gonna try to to convert this into Rex9. You see, I just use the slog and sRGB, right? So that's it. Okay, look how crazy, look how crazy these things got to be. If you see something like this, you're going to be very confused. You see, because it's, look at the room, it's too small. You see, the loom is too small. So let's say maybe I just want to open up the image, right? So if I want to open an image, the first thing that's, let me come in here the note before. All right. So this is it. I just want to open my web form just like this, right? So I'm going to use, maybe try to use the lift. I'm going to open up the lift like this. First, the job is going to be so much, right? So I'm going to open up, and actually the midtone was perfect, right? So I'm going to try to reduce the gain and a little bit of gamma so that we can have an image. How about this? How about the contrast that we lost? Because you can see we open up the image, but it was contrasted. Look at here. Look at this spot here. Was a very perfect. To me, I would love it. I just want the contrast like this, but the image has to be open. You see, now I've, all right. Let me increase the contrast. I don't want to fight. Let me increase the contrast. Look, if I increase the contrast, looks, the image is starting looks aggressive instead of a perfect balance. That is the very biggest people are facing when it comes to color grading, or when it comes to perfecting the exposure, right? So this is a basic technique that I've learned so many years, and I was like, this is one is working for me. First, I'm about to use HDR tools to open my image just like this. Looks how perfect clean the image is got to opening image without clashing a most effect. I mean, clashing a most detail. All right, and then I'm just creating another node. Here I'm compressing the image so that the, I'm using this part. I'm compressing the image so that I'm collecting the information for breast area and highlight area and correcting them together. I just want to see. All right. So I want to see midi tone. That is the perfect area that I'm always focused on. All right. So I'm going to compress the image. until I starting the black CC it's getting here, and then I'm coming to compress the highlights until it's getting a perfect zone here. You see, a little bit. I just want the shadow to be above 100, so I'm going to increase it just like this, and I'm going to decrease this one like this. Look how perfect compression we got to use here. You see, this is it. Look at this, before and after, before and after. All right, that is the first technique. All right, and then I'm coming to create my own custom contrast. So I'm going to use another node, and I'm going to put 1.3 or sometimes 1.5, just like this. You see, and then I'm going to use my pivot to 0.336. This is DaVinci Resolve mid-range point, right? So look how perfect contrast I got to use. And then I'm coming to correct my exposure by using highlight slider instead of gain or any tools. I'm coming to use highlight slider just like it. Look how perfect it got to be. And then also I'm coming to reduce highlights a little bit by using lights from HDR tools. Looks how perfect MIDI tone is got to be. All right, how about the contrast? So this is one of our biggest technique. I'm coming after the Rec 79 here, and then I'm checking up my waveform again, and then I'm coming to I'm coming to the log wheel and pushing my shadows until I starting see the contrast is getting back to the point, and the contrast, it doesn't ruin the the mid-tone or the highlights. It's only affecting the blacks area. Looks how perfect the shadow we got to be. So look at how perfect the exposure got to be compared to the other perfect techniques. And looks how perfect these things, oh sorry, look how perfect these techniques is giving us the information to our image, and it doesn't even ruin anything. Sometimes this mouse doesn't work. Yo, but anyway, so I think now you can see how perfect we've done to our image, and actually you can see our contrast, our shadow areas is shadow, our mid-tone is got to be, our highlights is got to be, nothing interfere, everything looks in clean, it doesn't get crushed. You can see it doesn't get crushed, guys. Look at before, look at after. A perfect balance exposure, perfect contrast. These are one biggest technique that I often like to use when it comes to color grading, when it comes to correcting perfectly the exposure. So guys, I think we don't have any further questions. Any questions? So guys, I think for today we're gonna end up here because I planned to do a lot of things. Was my live going to live, it was a little bit give me a very difficult time. So I think on next session we're going to try to prepare it perfectly. But guys, one of the things that's you let me down is you don't ask a question. If you're not giving the questions, it's difficult for me to keep pushing this thing because I don't know what I can teach you. I don't know what your challenge you are facing. So drop your challenges, drop your things, drop your problems. So I'm able to come and clean up this to you, right? So guys, I think see you all next Sunday. See you on next sessions. Thanks very much for the sessions was perfectly and up.